So what are the three things we need to know before we enter a trade? I'll give you the first one, entries. What are two others? Entries, stops, and targets, right? Am I safe in assuming that before we enter a trade, we understand our risk profile, right? I mean, you got to get your position size on, right? Do you know how much you have at risk? Do you know what your max risk is per trade? Do you know how much you can potentially make per trade, right? Maybe patterns are a little bit different because we got to roll them a little bit. But at least on the risk side, you know how much is at risk per trade before you take the trade, right? If you don't, you probably shouldn't be trading, right? But the answer is yes, because you have a position size. Your position size is partially based off of, or fully based off of, your risk. So you know exactly how much you're risking, right? If this is poker, you know exactly how many chips you're slowly and dramatically pushing into the middle of the table. And my guess would be this: if you were uncomfortable taking that risk, would you be involved in the trade? Well, you shouldn't. So we're obviously comfortable taking whatever our max risk is. Did price come anywhere near that max risk? You should have already accepted the loss. I accept the loss every time I take a trade. Again, it's like poker. Once those chips are pushing to the middle of the table, they're not mine anymore. I expect to lose them all. At least in my mind. I'm a worst case scenario guy. I'm that guy in school where I take a test and I'm like, oh man, I probably failed, because now if I get like a C, then at least it's better than a failure, because every time I thought I did good, I would fail, and it's a whole thing. But the point is, I've accepted that I can potentially lose this much on this trade. I may lose less. I may get the exact amount back and break even. I may get more chips back, right? Those are different options, but worst case scenario, I've planned for it. I've accepted that I can lose that much per trade. So when you've accepted that you can lose this much per trade for this trade, and price action has only come not even halfway to your stop loss, why are you freaking out?